Last time we have discussed about the unique thermal properties of water, as well as we had also a discussion about the problem solving in terms of specific heat and in terms of latent heat of fusion. However, those problem solving only deal with one substance. Ano? If you notice, yung problem natin, one substance lang. So for example, dito, in this problem, we only have ice. Tama? So there is only one substance present in the problem. In this example, to use the second example natin, we only have an unknown metal. So there is only one substance present in the problem. And then in this problem, we only have silver. Tama? So there is only one substance present in the problem. So if there is one substance present in the problem, then you will use the process that we discussed last time. Kailan ba tayo last discuss? Last week, maybe? Okay, so ganun yung process if ever we only have one substance present in the problem. So for example, solid, change of temperature, solid, and then there is a transition to liquid, and then liquid, and there will be a transition to gas. So ganito yung process if ever we only have one substance present in our problem. However, what if there will be more than one substances present in the problem? What if there are two or more substances present in the problem? Okay? So kapag meron tayong two or more substances present in the problem and we are going to mix, okay, those substances, then we will be having a different approach. That is what we call the method of mixture, in the sense now we are mixing, okay? We are mixing two or more substances. Hindi lang one substance yung nasa problem natin. In some books, ang tawag nila dito is method of mixture. Kapag mag-watch ka ng YouTube video, method of mixture ang i-research mo, in the sense now we are actually mixing two or more substances. But when I say two or more substances, hindi kagaya nung sa chemistry ha. Kasi sa chemistry, when we talk about mixture, you have two or more substances, different substances. So for example, you mix water and sand. So that is a mixture. Okay, when you mix water and another water, that is not a mixture kasi nga pareho lang sila ng substance. When we talk about method of mixture in calorimetry, later I will discuss calorimetry, we are talking about mixing substances with different temperatures. Okay, it does not matter if it is the same substance or you have different substances, as long as you have substances with different temperature. Okay, the keyword is different temperature. So for example, si Adrian, siya may nag-pray kanina. So for example, si Adrian maligo. Yeah, so of course, balde daw. Or unsa ba kanang asa man ka nagaligo? Shower man siguro nila Adrian. So for example, inato lang Adrian ha. Balde for example. Okay, of course, lain po kayo maligo nga walay tubig. So naligo si Adrian ay tubig. Yan. Okay. Tubig na ni siya, tubig. However, bugnaw kayo kay kadlawon, for example. Kadlawon. So the temperature of water is 18 degrees Celsius, for example lang. The temperature is 18 degrees Celsius. So that means napakaginaw. Kurug-kurug si Adrian na. In Bisaya, kuray. Okay? Makuray si Adrian. Magkurug-kurug ang kanang bitang mga muscles or bones. Okay? So tugnaw kayo. So anong gagawin ni Adrian? Of course, ang gagawin ni Adrian, mag-heat lang siya ng water. Tama? Mag-heat siya ng water. So for example, na daw heater. Heater daw si Adrian. Then, heater daw niya, for example. Dakuha sa heater ni Adrian. Oy. And then, of course, nag-boil siya og water. Yan. Naroon ni tubig. And hot water. Okay? So, nag-steam, o kana, nag-aso-aso na. So, boil, nag-boil. Of course, that is boiling. So, that means the temperature is at 100 degrees Celsius. Assuming na nasa sea level. 100 degrees Celsius. Ayun. So ano ang gagawin ni Adrian? Ang gagawin niya is that he is going to mix the hot water to the cold water. Ayun. So i-mix natin. Anong kulay? Black na lang. So i-mix natin yung hot water to the cold water. Ayan. So that is what method of mixture is all about. Okay? Pag sinabi nating mixture, we have substances with different temperature. In chemistry, you cannot say na it is a mixture kasi nga water and water yan. However, when we talk about calorimetry, when we talk about method of mixture, you're actually talking about substances with different temperature. I-mix mo sila. Okay? Ayun. So ano yung mangyayari dito if ever Adrian is going to mix the boiling water dito sa napakalamig na water? So of course, the water will heat up, tama no? The temperature of this water will increase. Ayun. So tataas ang temperature ng water na ito. Ayan. Yung temperature ng boiling water magbaba. Magbaba yung temperature ng boiling water. Ayun. Until such time na they will attain the same temperature. Tama? Okay, that's our common experience. So tataas ang temperature nito, that is why lami na kailigo no. Magbaba ang temperature ni hot water, magtaas yung temperature ni malamig na water. Okay? Until such time na they will attain the same temperature. So for example, 25 degrees Celsius. For example lang, 25 degrees Celsius. So lami na kayo, lindot na kayo iligo, no? Di na kayo tatugnawon. So 25 degrees Celsius. This 25 degrees Celsius at which our mixture attains the same temperature, attains equal temperature. Then sila mag-meet halfway. Okay? Ang tawag natin dito is thermal equilibrium. Okay? When we talk about thermal equilibrium, nadunggan niyo ang tingog ni Sir Kelly? Hindi ka kanta Sir Kelly. Madunggan ninyo? Kailan mo Sir Kelly, no? Madunggan ninyo? Madunggan ninyo, nindot ba kay yung Sir Kelly, oh? Bugnaw kayo, murag ka ng bugnaw nga tubig, bugnaw kayo sa feeling. So that is what we call thermal equilibrium. Okay, so that is what we call thermal equilibrium. So that's the temperature at which our mixture will attain the same temperature. Okay? So kaya tinawag siya na method of mixture. Now, if you notice our cold water increases its temperature. Okay? Nagtaas yung temperature niya. So ibig sabihin, ano nangyayari sa water natin? It gains heat. Ayun. So, nag-gain siya og heat. Ayan. In the sense na its temperature increases. Tama? Nag-gain siya ng heat. And of course, ang hot water natin, yung temperature ng hot water natin nag-drop. Okay? Lumamig siya. So, that means this hot water loses heat. So, nag-lose siya ng heat. Follow? Okay. Heat is lost. Dito, heat is gained. Nakuha? So, ibig sabihin, there is heat exchange among our substances. Okay? Meron tayong heat exchange. Ang isa nag-gain, ang isa nag-lose. So, that means, yung na-lose na heat ni hot water, nag-gain siya ni cold water. Nakuha? So, there is heat exchange. And when there is, and the science that studies the determination of energy because of heat exchange, the science, ang tawag natin doon is calorimetry. Ayan. So when we determine the energy in terms of the heat exchange, ang tawag natin doon is calorimetry. Nakuha? Ayun. Now, how are we going to relate the heat that is gained and heat that is lost in the process? So we can use the conservation of energy. According to the conservation of energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So ibig sabihin, hindi tayo mag-create ng energy in the process, wala ding mawawala na energy in the process. Nakuha? Ayun, it can only be transformed from one form to another. Okay? So nag-transform lang. So how are we going to relate heat that is gained and heat that is lost? So in terms of conservation of energy, we can just conclude or infer that the heat gained is just equal to the heat that is lost. Okay? So heat that is gained, is just equal to the heat that is lost. So how are we going to know which object will gain heat? How are we going to know which object will lose heat? So ang tatandaan lang natin, cold objects, gaya nito, if the temperature increases, uminit, so that means heat is gained. Take note of that, ha? Take note of that. Napaka-importante nun. So kapag ka uminit, the heat is gained. Kapag ka lumamig, kagaya nito, from 100 degrees Celsius to 25 degrees Celsius, lumamig siya. So that means heat is lost in the process. Nakuha? So nag-drop ang temperature. Okay? So we can transform this statement into a mathematical equation. So ang equation natin for heat exchange, for method of mixture or for calorimetry, we have heat gained is equal to heat lost. Okay? Take note of that, ha? So yan lang yung equation natin. O, di ba? Dali ra kayo. But take note, heat that is gained is positive because heat is added to the system. Tama no? Heat is added to the system, or heat is absorbed. Now, heat loss is negative because, excuse me, heat is removed from the system or from the object, or heat is released by the object. Okay? So how are we going to know if heat is gained? If nagtaas ang temperature. How are we going to know if heat is lost? If nagbaba ang temperature. Nakuha? Okay. Now, we already discussed that there are three equations for heat. Tama? So start tayo sa delta T, change of temperature. Heat is equal to mc delta T. Okay? So that is the formula for heat in terms of change in temperature. Where delta T, itong delta T na ito, this is TF minus TI. Ayan. However, if our TF or final temperature is less than our initial temperature, kagaya nito, this is our final temperature, so it is less than the initial temperature. It will become negative. It will give us a negative answer. Tama no? If TF is less than TI. Okay lang kung TF is greater than TI, kagaya nito. Yung TF natin is greater than our TI. So positive yan. So magkakaroon tayo ng problema if ever TF is less than TI. Okay, so that will give us a negative sign. Okay? So kapag a negative sign, negative ang heat na ito, negative multiplied by negative is positive. Tama? So magiging positive yan. Negative multiplied by negative is just positive. So paano natin gagawin para maiwasan natin yung negative sign? Kasi sometimes, based on experience, malilito yung mga students kung mag-negative sign ba sila or makakalimutan nila na kapag heat loss is negative sign. So doon sila nagkakamali. Magkakamali kayo later sa problem solving kapag makalimutan yung negative sign. So how are we going to disregard the negative sign without compromising the solution? So instead of having TF minus TI, kasi it will give us a negative result, so para maging positive siya, gawin na lang natin siyang TI minus TF para maging positive yung answer natin. So in heat exchange, ang gagawin na lang natin for delta T is, take note of this, higher temperature minus lower temperature. Okay? Higher temperature minus lower temperature. What's the purpose? Para yung sagot natin magiging positive. Nakuha? Baka kasi doon sa previous kasi natin na discussion, it's always final minus initial. That's true. Pero dito sa heat exchange, magiging negative ka siya. Negative times negative is just positive naman. So ang gagawin na lang natin is gawin natin siyang positive. And how are we going to make it positive? Higher temperature minus lower temperature. Nakuha? That is for MC delta T. Okay? Now, how about for latent heat? How are we going to know if an object gains heat or an object loses heat? Wala naman siyang change in temperature. Okay, so alam natin na there is heat absorbed or heat released. So for example, solid, liquid, gas. Di ba? I hope na remember pa yung discussion natin sa previous lesson. Solid to liquid, melting, liquid to gas, um, vaporization, yes, boiling, and then solid to gas, sublimation. And these processes are positive. So heat gained ito lahat, endothermic. So heat is gained. Okay? Ito lahat sa taas, heat is gained. Nakuha? Ayun. So yan sa taas, melting, vaporization, and sublimation. Dito sa baba, if the process is condensation, solidification, and deposition, heat is lost. Okay, so that is how you are going to identify kung ano yung nag-gain ng heat or ano yung nag-lose ng heat.